Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to go over the NBA for November 20th. And as you can see, the odds are on the screen. We're going to start with Milwaukee and the Chicago Bulls. And let's get started with that. The first game of the day, well, among the first games of the day. The other one is the Pelicans Cavaliers, but we'll start with the Bulls and Bucks. All right, as you can see, the odds now, the Bulls are plus 260 on the money line. The Bucks are minus 320, plus 8. 8 point spread in this one, minus 110 for the Bulls, minus 110 for the Bucks. So pretty much even, same thing as the total, over, under, 237.5, 237.5, minus 110, minus 110. And let's get started with the decode real quick. Let's see how they started. Okay, Milwaukee started at minus 357. Chicago is plus 290, so both are a little bit underneath in their respective directions, a little bit lower in number from where they started. And we're going to go over the splits here. Now they're at minus 320 from minus 357. Plus 290 turns into plus 260. And let's get started with the splits. Let's go down here, scroll down. Excuse me, sorry about that. All right, 13% of the betting on the money line going with the Bulls currently. This is early in the morning, and I'm going to tell you how these are going to adjust. 30% of the money going with the Bulls on the money line, 70% of the money going with the Bucks, 87% of the betting going with the Bucks in this one. So they're pretty sizable favorites, but this is still early. 70% of the betting going with the Bulls, 62% of the money going with the Bulls, 38% going with the Bucks, 30% going with the Bucks on the betting. Over under 67%. Over is getting 67% of the betting, 65% of the money. Under is getting 33% of the betting, 35% of the money. All right, let's get started with this. This is 30%, 70%. If you see this 70%, let's say it goes, I'll say it'll go up to about, it's not going to go up too far. It'll probably go down to about 65, then rise again to about 72 around game time when the sharps go in. But they could put this as an easy money. If they want some easy money, people are going to bet Chicago. But normally Chicago would be more of a favorite even this early. They would be a little less than this, but people want that easy money, which is why it looks like the Bucks more than likely will win this. But keep an eye on this minus 320. Keep an eye on that. If that increases at all towards this minus 357, aka 360, then go with the Bucks. If you see it decrease, then that's where it gets tricky, because then it'll depend on this plus 260. If this decreases significantly, let's say it goes down to minus 270, minus 275, and this goes down to, let's say, plus 200, plus 190, then that's where you may want to consider Chicago. But as it stands, Milwaukee looks safe right here on the money line. And the Bucks, let's see, 62% of the money going with the Bulls, 38% going with the Bucks. All right, let's see. 8 point spread. Are the Bucks probably, let's say it goes down to 7.5, 7.5 point spread. Then I'll say this: if it decreases at all, go with the Bucks on the spread. If it increases at all, then go with the Bulls on the spread. Let's say if it goes to 9.5, even if it goes up to 10, then you may want to consider the Bulls on the spread only if the cost increases. If the cost increases to minus 114, minus 112, then you want to go with the Bulls. If the Bulls cost goes up to minus 118, minus 122, then you've pretty much got a lock there. But yeah, let's go to the next one. Pelicans versus Cavaliers. Cavaliers are. Hold on, give me one moment. All right, Cavaliers are. Let's see where they start. Minus 1,000. Minus 1,000 point favorites on the money line. 660 plus 660 for the Pelicans as an underdog. Currently, it is plus 570 for the Pelicans and minus 820 for the Cavaliers. Currently, that is a noticeable, sizable money line increase. Also, this minus 13, minus 112, minus 13, minus 112. For this 13-point spread, 13-point favorites are the Cavaliers, 13-point underdogs are the Pelicans, at minus 108 cost. And as you can see, they already got that minus 112. Those hit more than the minus 108s, but it depends on which way the odds go. Let's see this minus. Hold on. Right here. 82% of the money going with Cleveland in this one. 18% of the money going with the Pelicans on the money line. 97% of the betting going with the Cavaliers. And 3% of the betting going with the Pelicans. So people putting heavy money on Cleveland, and their odds are decreasing. I will say this. If the Pelicans are going to win this game, Cavaliers are going to have to go right back up to this 1,000. If they go back up to this 1,000 and they still maintaining this 97.82 right here, you may want to fade the public and go with the Pelicans and get that payday. Only if it's that, especially if they increase and it's 1,000. Always beware of heavy home favorites. But Pelicans look like they could be a lock if this goes back up towards 1,000. But as it stands, I would pick Cleveland. I would join the public. If it goes up significantly, minus 900 plus, minus 950 toward 1,000, you may want to consider the Pelicans. Always beware of home favorites. All right, 13-point spread favoring Cleveland. 76% of the money going with Cleveland, 70% of the betting at that minus 112 cost. As it stands, they look pretty safe at that minus 112 cost. The only thing that'll change is what was based on the money line here. Cavaliers look like a safe bet, but pay attention to what these costs do. If this cost flips, let's say Pelicans become minus 112, minus 114, then Cleveland becomes minus 108, minus 106. Then you may want to consider the Pelicans on this spread here. Over under 220.5, minus 110 cost even. Over and under. 81% going over of the betting, 74% of the money going over. You may want to, I'll say, join the public on that one. Go with the over. However, if the cost, pay attention to the cost. Cost go minus 114, minus 115. Under goes minus 105, something like that. Whichever cost goes to minus 105, pick that one. Whichever cost goes to minus 105, pick that one. Those hit way more often on the totals than any other amount. Keep that in mind. All right, next game. Portland versus OKC. Once again, this is one of those. This is minus 950 for the Thunder, plus 610 for the Blazers. Heavy favorites are at home with OKC. Same thing, 13 points, minus 110 cost this time. Let's see where the money is going. Over unders at 224, minus 110 cost even as well. Let's see where they started. Scroll down a little bit here. All right, right here. 1250 is the cost. Opening plus 780 for Portland. Currently it is plus 610, minus 950. Heavy favorites are the Thunder. Let's see where the money is going. Beware of home favorites. They do win more so than not, but that's where you make your money if the dogs win. That's really where you make your money. Okay, see, people putting heavy money on Portland. People putting heavy money on Portland in this one. Unlike the last game, 33% going with Portland at this plus 610 cost. And the odds have decreased significantly, much more significantly than the Cleveland game, minus 112. So, as it currently stands, OKC may be a safe pick in this one if you choose to bet that minus 950. That is steep, though. 13 points separates them, so naturally, Portland getting this much money on the money line, they're going to get most of the money with such a sizable spread. They're getting that. Portland could win this game only if this amount decreases. Since they're getting so much of the money, if this goes around plus 500, plus 480, plus 450, if it decreases that significantly, then you may want to go Portland. But any other way, you may want to go OKC right here. However, I would join the public on the spread. Period. I would join the public on the spread with this 13. 950, I would stick with that unless it significantly decreases for Portland on this money line with them getting so much of the money. 33% at plus 610 cost is a lot of money for Vegas to pay out. And they don't want to do that. So, 224, over under, 224, minus 110 cost. 86% across the board. 86%, 86 money in betting going over. I would actually join the public in this one. Join the public. Minus 110 at that minus 110 cost. The only way I would fade them is if this cost decreases. If this cost decreases, there's no reason for this to decrease with it getting so much of the money. If this decreases while remaining around this 86, then go with the under. That's the only way I'd go with the under. All right. Indiana versus Houston. All right. Plus 220 currently for the Pacers, minus 270 for the Rockets. All right, plus 220, minus 270. Hold on. Okay, so this is still the same currently. However, OddsShark has it a little bit differently, minus 255, plus 215. This is why I have it on the screen for y'all, so y'all can see the OddsShark current and the FanDuel current. So it's basically the same. Well, it is the same as the opening. The current odds for Houston, much larger favorites. Minus 6.5 for at that minus 112 cost. Minus 108 at plus 6.5 spread, that is. Spread plus 6.5 minus 108 cost for the Pacers as a 6.5 point underdog. Let's see where this goes. 28% of the money. 28% of the money going with the Pacers, 72% going with the Rockets as it stands. The way I see this one, the only way the Pacers, this plus 220, is going to win this game is if they start decreasing this to about, let's say, this decreases to about 15%. 15% right here. And if the Pacers are going to win this game, there will be no reason to really increase this cost for the Rockets. So all of this would have to decrease. Let's say this plus 220 turns into plus 190, plus 180. And this minus 270 goes down to about minus 200, minus 210, minus 220, something like that, minus 215. That's the only way I see the Pacers winning this game. As it currently stands, I'm going with the home team on the spread and at that 112 cost and the minus 270. Over under 231.5, under 231.5, minus 110 cost. Let's see, where's it going? All right, 77% going over, 78% going over. So the overs are betting heavily early. Overs are getting it heavily early. And all the costs are minus 110 even. Watch how they adjust. Watch how the cost adjusts. Just focus on that. And more than likely, this over under probably going to turn into probably 232.5. If it goes up, then go under. If it goes down, then go over. It's that simple. Now, next game, Philadelphia versus Philadelphia versus Memphis. 76ers versus Grizzlies, that is. Minus 166 on the money line for the 76ers, plus 140 for Memphis, minus 166. Let's see where they started. Minus 110, minus 108. All right. So basically, they started as a pick 'em. 76ers evolved to more of a favorite. Memphis is at home at plus 140. Let's see. 53%, 47%. This was a lot like the Chicago-Detroit game the other night, where Chicago was somewhere around this plus 140 underdog to Detroit, and they won the game across the board. So I'm leaning toward Memphis in this game. Let's see what the splits are. 53%, 57% going with. So basically just about even. 31% of the spread, 25% of the spread. The spread is not that high. Only 3.5 points for basketball. So with that 31% going with Philadelphia on the spread, minus 110 cost. Minus 166 for at 53%. All right. If this stays around like it is now, let's see. You see where this plus 120 is now plus 140. And Memphis is at 47%. I'm going with Memphis across the board. Obviously, you go with them on the money line, you go with them on the spread. But I'm going with Memphis only if these odds do not increase above that 150. Now, 76ers are above that 150 threshold, which is always a safe pick. But that's the safe pick. If Memphis goes too high here, then go with the 76ers. If they go plus 140, even if they go to plus 145, go with the 76ers. But as it currently stands, I'm going with Memphis across the board. Over-unders at 219.5. Unders at 219.5 minus 110 cost. Let's see. Over 82 and 83%. 218.5. Yeah. I'm joining the public in that instance. Only if the cost favors the over. So I'll join the public in that instance. New York versus Phoenix. Let's scroll down here a little bit. All right, New York versus Phoenix. Minus 230 currently for the Knicks. Plus 190 for the Suns. Where did they start? Minus 227 for the Knicks. Plus 190 for the Suns. Let's scroll down. Minus 227 plus 190 turns into minus 230 plus 190. Okay, so the Suns have stayed consistent. Knicks have gone up. Let's see where OddsShark is now. Minus 215 plus 185. So they're a little bit lower. A little bit lower here. 215 plus 185. Phoenix at home was the spread is at 6 points in favor of the Knicks on the road. Let's scroll down. All right. 71% in favor of the Knicks. 76% in favor of the Knicks on the betting. 71% of the money. 56 and 55 on the spread. 55 and 56 betting in the money on the spread. Now, with this type of game, 71% going with the Knicks, I will say, and this spread being so, I would go with the Suns on the spread. That's the safe pick. That's the higher cost. I'm going with that on the spread. And I'm going with the Knicks on the ML as it currently stands. Especially if they increase in cost. If they decrease under 200, go with the Suns at home. But go with the Knicks as it currently stands. Over, under, I'm leaning toward the under in this one. I'm fading the public in that one, and I'm going with the under. I believe it's going to be a close game. Close game with the under with it being somewhat of a low scoring game, probably the lowest scoring game of the day, one of the lowest scoring games of the day. All right, Atlanta plus 280 minus 340, 350 now. 350, they got it 350, they got 340 right here. So they need to adjust that. Plus 280 for the Hawks. Where did they start? Plus 300 minus 370. I'm going with, let's see, they're still around the same. So Golden State 75%. All right, so Golden State is at home. Minus 340. It's going to be hard to go against this, because this is a lot like the other night when Golden State played, I can't remember the opponent, and it was very similar to this plus 280 minus 3. I think it was minus 350 like it is now, even though it has minus 340 here. I'm going with Golden State right here, and I'm going with Atlanta on the spread. I'm sticking with the safe pick in this one as well on the spread. And the Hawks are getting 33 and 36. Yeah, I'll stick with that only if the cost increases. Stays the same or increases. I'm going with Golden State. Over under, I'm going with the under at that minus 112 cost. Now, Orlando Magic, minus 144, plus 122 for the Clippers. On the money line, that is. The spread is at 2.5 points, the lowest of the day. 49% of the money going with the Magic, 48% of the money going with the Magic, 49% of the betting going with the Magic. Where did they start? Minus 119, plus 101. So, yeah, a little bit of a pick'em game. Orlando getting now minus 144, minus 135 on Odd Shark, minus 144 on FanDuel. As long as Orlando approaches this minus 150, they're good. Go with them on the money line as long as they approach this, with Clippers getting most of the money, 81% on the spread. I'm going with Orlando. People are going to put money on the Clippers at home. They're going to put a heavy lot of money on Clippers at home. The only way the Magic lose is if this minus 144 turns into minus 130 and this turns into plus 110. Then I'll go with the Clippers in that instance. Over under 207.5. I'm going with the over. I'm joining the pub. That is a very low total, though. I'm leaning toward the under because the total's so low, and that could be a trap. So yeah, I would lean toward the under. The over I would go with only if the cost increases to minus 120, minus 118, something like that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I've been Scott. Join the picks. They're on the Patreon. Link is in the description and in the video. You guys take care.